Good? Alright, cool. So, guys, CJ here from Three Black Geeks, and I'm here with Joe Adams. How's it going, sir?
I'm doing alright, how are you?
Doing great. So, you did character design work for probably one of the more beloved and famous shows, King of the Hill.
Yes, I did.
So, how did that design process come about when you jumped on board?
You know, it was so different from what I normally did. It was actually a real big learning process for me to work that way. I had to unlearn a lot of what I knew and learn a lot of things that I should have known, like working with caricature.
Yeah.
Like I came out of comic books and drawing, children's animation stuff, where we did either cartoon or superhero type stuff, and I didn't really work with caricature, like what people really look like.
Yeah.
And that was one of the more interesting things about King of the Hill, is that it was based on real people. It was based on the real world, and it was caricature. When they wanted people designed, they didn't want to see pretty people. They wanted to see your everyday American. Yeah. So it made it an interesting thing to do.
So, I mean, you're working alongside the creatives and such, the voice actors. Did they ever have any input in how it was designed, or was that just more so?
Well, their input would be, we never worked directly with them. They worked in a different studio than we did. They worked out of the Fox Studios. We worked out of Film Roman.
Okay.
But we would always hear the table reads before we designed them. So I would hear what the voice was going to be, and I would let that influence what I was going to do for design.
Yeah, so, you said you had a hard time coming from. So what sort of, habits did you have that you had to kind of get yourself out of doing?
Well, drawing pretty people out of my head. It was, because you have a list of people that you could draw in your head as an artist that you draw regularly when you're doing your go-tos.
Yeah.
And I had to break away from those go-tos. And one of the things I did was, and it was recommended by Mike Judge, who said, look, take a camera, take a sketchbook, do whatever it is you need, but go to the LA County Fair. And look at the kind of people who go to the county fair, and that's the kind of world King of the Hill is. So I did. I went to the LA County Fair, brought a camera with me, and I shot pictures of crowd scenes, people waiting around for food, stuff like that. And they became a lot of my inspiration for what I would design on the show.
Cool. We had talked earlier that you did animation for NASCAR Racers.
I did a show in NASCAR
How
Racers.
was that? Just being on that kind of show. Like it's kind of very superhero-esque show. I mean,
it's more on the heroic side again. It's the designs are very, very elongated. The characters are all pretty. Every one of them is pretty. So even your bad guys were pretty. So it was back to the old way with that.
Yeah, so I mean, it was pretty easy for you to just just going back to doing this.
Yeah.
So I mean, did you have much? I mean, I think you told us earlier about you making the bad guy character based off of you. So did that kind of was that your way of saying, I got leeway to kind of do whatever to an extent? Or?
No, I mean they gave me a lot of leeway because they trusted me to do my job. They hired me because they knew that I was good, and they trusted me to do my job. So whenever I would design something, especially after doing King of the Hill, I tried to play a little more with characters to make them all very different from each other, because that became the thing I enjoyed about designing on King of the Hill. So when I went over, I designed a character like Junker, who might have had different hair or a very unique hairstyle or something like that. I had a little fun when I got to design Zarina. She had a short haircut with bangs or something like that. Yeah, stuff that I had seen or was modern at the time.
Yeah. All right, so you were about to drop us a bombshell before we had left. So you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, one of the interesting things about me is where I come from. My dad is Neal Adams, a legendary comic book artist, having done Batman, Green Lantern, Green Arrow, all the great comics from those late 60s, early 70s. So I came from a family of artists, and so I had a lot of inspiration and influence from there.
I mean, what was his reaction when it was like, "Hey, I'm doing King of the Hill"? Did he actually see the actual show when you were doing it?
There was a lot of jokes that would go back and forth on that, because he didn't understand how, as an artist who was capable of doing what I was doing, why would I be working on a show that resembled Beavis and Butthead? And I learned a lot doing King of the Hill, and I really learned to appreciate it But I think you had to, for someone like me or my dad, you had to work on it to appreciate it.
Yeah.
So my dad would always ask me questions like, how do you get up every morning and go into a studio and draw that way?
Yeah.
So my joke to my dad was that, well, when I get to work in the morning, I smash my hand in the car door and I go to work. It's a terrible joke, because I love the show so much, but it was a joke between me and my dad.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's always there.
But I mean, even now he appreciates what we did on the show and how different it was from everything else. And King of the Hill's not a cartoon.
Yeah.
It may be drawn like a cartoon, might be up there with cartoons, but it's not a cartoon. It's caricature. It's moving caricatures.
I mean, it felt very real. Like you said, with the way you drew the characters, it felt very real. Like I can literally go down to Texas and it's like I can find somebody.
You can find those people. You can find you look at the thing. I can find somebody who looks like that.
Yeah.
You're not going to find a lot of Homer Simpsons on the street.
Yeah,
you'll find a lot of Hank Hills, and I see them a lot at Comic Cons.
Yeah.
Somebody says I look like Hank Hill.
So, what have you been doing lately, actually, in terms of work?
Lately, I've been doing a lot of Comic Cons. I'd say for the last 5 years, I've been on the road doing a lot of Comic Cons. I work out of a studio in Burbank where I do some promotional work and still dabble and I'm doing some comic book covers. And I think my next project, if I don't get on the reboot for King of the Hill, which I'm trying to keep my fingers out there for, then there's a children's book that I want to work on that I started a while back that I think I want to get done for next year.
Cool. Lastly, what was your kind of like thoughts like that last season of King of the Hill and kind of winding down? Like, how did you kind of feel going into that?
I didn't work on it because I only did the first three seasons. But as a fan who watched it, I really thought it was a really cute ending, especially for Hank and Bobby.
Yeah.
It was a nice little tie-up where they kind of, Hank's got that moment where he's proud of Bobby, and they have that nice little moment where he pulls out the grill for him at the end. The only thing I never understood was the choice for Boomhauer's career.
Yeah.
With all the crazy antics they got in and the trouble they got in and stuff they did. Where was when someone who's a Texas Ranger would not have done so. The Texas Ranger wouldn't have gone out trying to find illegal drugs on the street for con.
But it's nice talking to you though.
Nice talking to you.
Definitely appreciate it. So have a good day at the con. Take it easy.
I want to actually sneak one question.
Go for it.
I'll just reach over on this. Actually, I'll sneak around. I'll sneak around for a question really quick. Bear with me, camera. All right. Hey, how's it going? Oh, by the way, again.
Hey.
So my biggest question for you is that obviously King of the Hill has been something very iconic that everyone's seen all over the nation. Fox being one of the big stations that everybody gets in their household. But again, when we walk past it, we knew the work, never seen the face. What is that response to you when you see fans and just the general Comic-Con public when they say, "Oh my God, you're the guy behind King of the Hill"? Like, what is that initial reaction for you?
It's a lot of fun, and sometimes I get really great reactions as they read my sign. It's like they'll see the King of the Hill and think, "Oh, it's really cool, King of the Hill fan art," and then they'll go read my sign and they'll be like, "Oh, wait a minute. That was me. You actually worked on the show."
Yeah, right. It's crazy, and it's such appreciation. We appreciate everything that you've done. Like, and it's just weird because I think as fans or consumers, you're used to saying like, I'm gonna go home and I know that show is gonna be there, and I know the next season is gonna be there, and eventually at some point the shows come to an end. But we do know this there, and then we think about the voices of it, and then actually sometimes the characters become larger than life. So we think we may see that character in real life, but the artist is the face that you rarely see. So like it's a surreal moment.
You don't get a lot to see of us, and a lot of people don't know. It's nice that in Comic Cons I'm starting to see a lot more people come out. Tom Cook, who did everything from He-Man and the Masters Universe to Scooby-Doo. You got Steve Gordon's doing shows now, and he did X-Men Next Generation. These guys are coming out and doing shows, and people are starting to discover that there are faces behind a lot of the artwork that you see out there. We don't get our names out there like comic book artists because we don't have a book out there. They can look at everything. But if you watch the credits as they scroll, our names are in there. So, but it's really nice, and I think the way Comic Cons are growing into the media, I think you're going to start seeing a lot more of this because. There are a lot more open to it, and a lot more people inviting You know, like I'm doing a show in Houston, Texas, where I'm one of the big guests.
Nice.
So thank you. And I've done it once before, and it's a great town for me. I'm going to do a giant display. I'm going to have a King of the Hill fence behind me, and I'm going to put in an artificial lawn.
Nice. So. That is awesome.
So yeah, so it's a really good time, and and I have a great time at these things.
Right on. Well, thank you so much for taking time to chat with us. Awesomecon 2019. I hope you have a good rest of the weekend, and good luck in Houston.
Thank you very much.
Yes, right on.
All right.